Rob, how's it going, man?
It's going good.
I thought since the season is over, we can kind of reminisce on the past year of basketball. Would you like to do that?
I would like to do that very much.
It's been a fun year, and since we decided to do this podcast together, I'm going to pretend like it was my idea.
Yeah, great idea, Mike. I love it.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about the top 5 topics that have happened over the past year. And remember, this is not the top 5 overall. This is the top 5 that me and Rob could think of on the spot. So I hope you guys like these ones. Right away, we got to start off with the family of the year. Do you know what that family of the year is, Rob?
The LiAngelo Ball and Company family?
Exactly, the Ball family. What a year they had. Can you tell me some of the amazing things that happened?
Well, the craziest thing for me is that Lonzo Ball got drafted, and then rather than just try and go out and be a good player, he started all this garbage. He started all this stuff to try and be an entity before he was even a player. I mean, he comes out with a shoe line before he gets drafted. That's ridiculous. And then, obviously, they're all over the place on social media.
Do you think that's his doing or his father's doing?
I want to say it's his father's doing, but also, you think he could be like, come on, Dad, stop. And they'd stop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you would think he would have the upper hand in the family now that he's the breadwinner. But it kind of seems like he's going along with it. They had some amazing things happening this past year. And don't forget that they have a Facebook TV show. Have you watched any of that?
You put that in the notes, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to act like I know what that is.
There's, I think it's called Ball in the Family.
I get it.
Yeah, and we can't forget the middle one. What's his name?
I feel like LiAngelo is the name I hear a lot.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit what's happened over his past year.
Well, the best part is that when your big brother is better than you at basketball, the number one thing to do is ride his coattails to UCLA, which LiAngelo did.
Smart.
And then have your crazy father pull you out of your full ride scholarship at UCLA, where you're probably not going to class, probably just hanging out, hanging with your friends, hanging with girls on the weekend, and send you to Lithuania, where if I wasn't from Lithuania in the past, I would have no idea where that is on any map.
Yeah, I still don't know where that is on a map. But he not only took the middle child, he also took the youngest child to Lithuania, so no more education for that one.
Happy Sweet 16, buddy, in Lithuania.
What is the big city in Lithuania?
Vilnius.
Is that true?
That is the capital of Lithuania. Yes, that is the capital of Lithuania.
Did you
the rumor was no. I know that the rumor was that the stadium that they played in fit like 2,000 people.
Good turnout.
2,000 people. No. 2,000 people didn't go. It fit 2,000 people.
Oh, right.
If at max capacity. You're taking buses places. You're just going across the Lithuanian landscape. You're not flying, so you don't need any high-end transportation. But the best part for me was when they first went over, it was televised, which how pumped was that Lithuanian team that in the United States of America, a crappy Lithuanian game was televised. That was their one minute of fame.
The most coverage they've probably had ever. And
LiAngelo Ball went like 10 for 65 from 3. It looked like you ever play 2K and you want to shoot well with somebody, but you're not, but you're like, shoot out of it. I want to score with JJ Redick. I'm going to shoot as many threes as possible. So you finish the game like 9 for 28 from 3, and you're like, don't care. He had 40.
Yeah.
That was LiAngelo Ball in real life.
That's almost realistic, but it would be 9 from 40 for me. I'm not going to only shoot 28 times from 3 with JJ. I'm going to shoot 40 times.
Makes sense.
How do you feel about this family, though, in all seriousness? Do you think this was a good year? Do you think this publicity was good for them and good for their brand and all that?
I think the family, and especially Lonzo, thought that this was a good idea when he first came into the NBA, because I think life has been easy for Lonzo. I don't know about personally, but I mean his basketball life.
Right.
He's nasty at basketball. He is in the upper 1% of the 1% of basketball. And so in his mind, he's going to be...
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, in the whole world.
Oh, okay.
If you think about 7 billion people in the world, he's in the top 300 people. It's an incredible feat. So I think he went to the NBA and was like, I'll just score 15 and get 10 assists just like I have my whole life. Turns out everyone in the NBA is in the top 1% of the 1%, except LeBron, who's in the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, and swatting your ball off the backboard. He had a down season, And I feel like we've seen the focus go towards LiAngelo being drafted since he wasn't as electric of a rookie as you might have thought.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of one of those situations where it's like it's a big fish going to a big pond from high school to college for him, and he did well in that big pond, but then he goes from the big pond to the ocean, and he's like, there are sharks in here. There is a LeBron James in here.
There was like trout in that river I was in.
Yeah, I was ready for the trout. Yeah. The salmon were going the opposite way. I was like, it's all good, guys. It's all good. I can't legitimately believe that LeVar Ball is actually the way he is. I think to a certain extent he's a crazy father that would do this and like be overwhelming. But to this extent, I don't think that type of person exists. I think it's method acting. I think it's Kanye acting.
No statements on Kanye.
I'm not saying statements on Kanye, but I'm just saying Kanye is a performance person. He's always doing a Kanye personality when he's out in public. He knows that if he trashes Taylor Swift, it's gonna help his brand or at least advance his brand.
I agree. And when we were in Nashville, I think it was Connor said, wow, I haven't heard from LeVar Ball or the Ball family in a long time because his dad had just come out and said something stupid. And I was like, exactly. They haven't been in the news for 2 months. So Mr. Ball goes, my son could dunk on Jordan, and then just shuts up just to keep their name in the headlines, to keep everyone thinking about the Ball family. Like you said, just like Kanye, no one could be that crazy.
No.
It's not possible, but at the same time, if every time you say something stupid, you make $200,000 in sales, I'd be like, yeah, say some stupid stuff.
Yeah, I guess I would be an asshole too. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Rob, do you want to announce what number 4 is?
Number 4, the NBA Twitter.
Twitter
just in general.
Oh
Twitter's
my God.
great.
I'm not even on Twitter, and I love NBA Twitter.
It's a dying platform, but for some reason in the NBA, everyone is on it.
I don't think it's
why.
dying, though. I think Twitter is going up. Instagram and Twitter are really kind of taking over. Snapchat's going down, and Facebook's going down because they keep selling our information. So people are like, what's up with that?
Just going to throw it out there. I'm sure Twitter and Instagram don't sell any of our information.
Right. The dark web doesn't exist, so it's like, don't worry, guys. You're safe at all times. Yeah, put your credit card on the internet. You're fine.
If you're listening to this podcast, please enter the last 4 digits of your social security number into the search bar.
There we go.
No reason.
There's some amazing things that happened this year on NBA Twitter, and I think we should update people on what we were talking about last podcast. Brian Colangelo is out, just like we thought. He was going to get fired for being an idiot. But the best part about it is that I'm pretty sure he made his wife the scapegoat. I don't think his wife ran these 4 Twitter accounts. So they're saying that he had that one, the Philo12345 or whatever, and then the other 4 were run by his wife. I don't know. It kind of sounds like, and again, I don't know their family. I don't know what she does. Maybe she's a doctor or something like that. But she could also be a housewife that's dependent on Brian Colangelo's career for her income. So it's kind of like honey, by the way, you need to do this because I'm an idiot.
It certainly seems weird. I can see a wife, because Gisele's done it for Tom Brady a couple times, where you can see a wife going out to defend her husband on Twitter. It's happened. Is your wife really going to make 4 burner accounts? 4 separate accounts to just openly hate on people?
But Gisele, defended on Gisele. Gisele
yeah,
was
on
Gisele.
Gisele.instagram.com.
Yeah, that's it. Look her up if you don't know who Gisele is.
The crazy thing about the story is I can see it both ways. It's funny to me because I imagine him getting a call from the owner being like, did you do this? And him being like, who can I blame this on? And frantically looking around, and he's just in his house with his wife. So he's like, you. You're the only one here. I gotta blame you.
Right. So it's like, dad's lucky he wasn't there.
And then I can see it the other way too, where he's like, what? I don't have any burner accounts. And he turns to his wife, and she's like twirling her hair, looking away, like there's nothing going on.
Sorry, did you say burner account?
Yeah,
like, why? Oh,
did you say
no reason?
Yearner account?
Right.
Was that Flirner? That's not a word. I don't know what you're talking about.
But
I find that very funny.
it also shows the difference of a general manager having burner accounts and KD having a burner account. Very
It's
different.
true. It's very true because KD, not to say he knows nothing, but he's not in meetings regarding players' health and transactions and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he's not saying look at physical records and stuff like that.
No, he's saying, look at me
Yeah.
because I'm a douche.
Yeah, but if you watch
Who scored
Game 3,
43 yesterday.
yeah, if you watch him score 43 and be the best player on the court. That's
Why
a
does he have to
different
be
story.
so good? He for me is like Curry is for you, or just the Golden State Warriors in general, where you watch them and you're like, I want to hate him, but I can't. I still have that for KD sometimes. I hate KD, but he scored 43 in the finals yesterday, and I was like, that's good.
I respect what I like about KD is that he went to the best team ever and he's like, I'm going to win a championship. But then instead he still improved his game and became one of the best defensive threats in the league. And I was like, I respect that. I respect someone who's in the top 3. We can agree, right? We can agree he's in the top 3 players.
Yeah, he's probably number 2.
He's number 2 in my opinion, but I didn't know how you felt. He's in the top 3 and he's still like, I need to improve my game. He's like, look, LeBron. LeBron has a fucking jump shot now.
You know who else likes KD's game? His burner account that constantly defended him this year. Which to me,
he's done with it now. He got caught.
Yeah. I still don't get how these people get caught. Did he say, like, someone said something about his wife and he's like, don't talk about my wife like that, and then he got caught? Is that
No, well, KD
how he
doesn't
got
have a
caught?
wife. But it was something he accidentally posted on the wrong account. I think he might have posted on his own account, just shitting on someone or something like that. And he's like, oh, okay, I have a burner account, and I meant to do that one. It's like, is that a better excuse?
Did he use like his initials on his burner account, like XOXO Kevin Durant?
Yeah, he always, it's like XOXO Gossip Girl. He's just doing his out.
And he actually did his outro on his main account, and that's how he got caught.
Yeah, there's
It just doesn't make sense.
There's 2 more things on Twitter that I just thought were absolutely ridiculous. The fact that Philly likes Joel Embiid more than Ben Simmons, I really feel like is purely based on his Twitter.
Yeah, I would agree because I think for that team, the impact of those players has been relatively similar. Both of them, when one of them's out, they're kind of like 500, maybe a sub 500 team. And when both of them are in, they're in the playoffs. They're a 4 seed or whatever they were this year. So I think, a 3 seed, I think, but still.
3 seed.
They're a good team when both of them are on the floor. So you'd think they would care about Simmons more, but Simmons doesn't ask Rihanna out on dates on Twitter. So they're not as cool.
Yeah, he's the prodigal son, Joel Embiid. But I really think if you're going to base a franchise on someone, it's got to be Ben Simmons because he's going to improve, and he doesn't. I mean, he broke his foot? That's not a common injury that is like a looming thing for the rest of your life, whereas Joel Embiid could not be playing in the NBA in 5 years.
I'm such a shrewd, it's so easy to say when you're not part of an organization, but they should be trading Joel Embiid because he's going to get hurt again. The guy can't stay healthy.
You've been saying that for years about Gronk.
I say it about everyone who has terrible injury history.
Yeah, well, that was my specific example.
I liked Joel Embiid at first. I thought it was cute. I thought his Twitter things were funny, but now it's just all you see is Joel Embiid on Twitter, and I don't care.
Yeah,
it's like Ryan Reynolds. People talk about his Twitter all the time. I'm like, it was hilarious for the first 2 tweets, and then I was like, who cares?
Are you into Deadpool as much as everybody else?
I am, yes.
I'm not. I don't know. I just felt like cheap jokes.
You don't like funny movies in action, Michael?
No. Well, I like funny movies in action. But it's just like they were just like little quips that were like not the most intense jokes.
Classic Deadpool jokes.
Classic Deadpool. But like we said, I like later Dave Chappelle compared to early Dave Chappelle. Because I like those think piece jokes that you're like, oh shit, that's intense, but hilarious. And then the last Twitter thing that I love this year is, okay, Karl Anthony Towns was open about his frustrations with the Minnesota Timberwolves at the end of the year. And in response to this, Devin Booker makes finds an old picture of Cat wearing a Suns jersey, and he says, come join us or something like that. So, friends with him, Karl Anthony Towns likes that. All of a sudden he's getting shit. He's getting shit for liking a picture of him. And people like I was listening to like podcasts. They're like, he shouldn't have done that. He's a professional. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to see it from the other way, where you're Karl Anthony Towns. Everything you do is scrutinized. Why like that thing? You could just not like that one thing. It's like sitting next to your wife and liking Gordon Hayward's girlfriend on Instagram. There's nothing wrong with it, but she might get mad. She might get mad.
It's just like, why are we at this point where a like on a Twitter post matters that much?
Because the Suns suck. That's why.
That's it. Yeah, and then they're going to get DeAndre Ayton. They're not going to pick up Doncic, even though they should. And they're going to continue to suck.
I feel like you have no backing to say who they should draft.
Me?
Yeah.
I am probably more a Suns fan than you and Connor.
Yeah,
just because I like Devin Booker.
Are you a big NBA draft fan?
Big NBA draft fan, or it's talked about around me enough that I can pretend like I can keep a conversation?
You can laugh and smile along with the conversation.
I could say a couple names and give me top 5. I can do it. I don't think Mo Bamba should be in the top 5.
I said that, man.
Shut up. That's not
You're
important.
Just copying that from me.
No, that's just my personal opinion now. And then I just can't explain it. Like, why? It's like, oh, he can't stretch the floor. It's like, okay. Yeah, what else is he good at? It's like, oh man. What does he look like? Oh.
He looks like Mo Bamba.
Yeah,
no one else looks like him.
DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I find like DeAndre Jordan. I'm like, is that him? Just any big man.
Any center.
Any center that can't shoot a 3-ball. Okay, number 3. NBA fights.
Fight night.
Fight night.
Ding, ding.
I love this culture. I love this culture of, we're tough, but whoa, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk. Don't throw a punch. Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Hold me back. I'm going to fight him. Now, where's my team? Where's my backup? It's so good.
The best thing out of the story for me was that Chris Paul, when interviewed about the fight, was like, I don't know, I was in the locker room. Like, everyone else was like, I'm so cool, I'm so tough. And Chris Paul was like, I gotta get in my Lamborghini and leave. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this garbage. I've been in this league for 70 years. No one fights. This is stupid.
There's some good banter that happened recently. Kendrick Perkins and Steph Curry. If you want to match weight class, that's what you got to go for. Kendrick versus Curry.
And Kendrick Perkins and Drake. And Kendrick Perkins and your mom. He's trying to fight everybody. That was kind of weird, too.
Well, that's why he got picked up. He was on the sideline to be a dick. That's like it.
Just speaking of Kendrick Perkins, there's nothing I love more than seeing a 6'10", 280-pound person in a fitted suit. It just looks weird. It looks like in a movie when they have abnormally large bodyguards at doors. He's just so big.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude that looks really sharp. But you're at the same time, you're like, he looks really nice. And then you're like, but does he? There's something and it's just because they're dressed like normal people. When you see that, you're just like, oh, they're extremely large normal people.
That's true, because most of the time you're looking at Westbrook and all this weird stuff, and they're kind of like glammed up, I guess would be a weird way of putting it. So to see Kendrick Perkins dressed like someone that could be in my office is hilarious, because if he did walk into my office, I would run away.
I think the funniest thing to consider with the fashion of the NBA is that they all kind of wear those shorter joggers now. They're almost like capris, right? That are around like in between your calf.
Yeah.
If you put those on, those would be too long for you.
Those aren't. They're just pants.
They're just
shopped at the wrong store.
They're just normal joggers. We buy the same clothes.
Sorry, our sizes end at 6'5". We couldn't get anything for you.
Like, I'm a foot taller than that. Okay. Yeah, but the best fight of the year, in my opinion, was the Rockets versus Clippers. Again, it wasn't a fight. It was a altercation, I guess.
A rumble.
Blake Griffin, of course, was involved. Chris Paul was talking shit to him. I like that. I like the little scrappy guys going at it. And then they were like, I have the best idea. I used to be the guy here, so I know exactly where we can go. Come on, Rockets. Let's rendezvous. Let's go to the Clippers locker room. We won't get in trouble. They won't catch us. Okay, we're here. Bark, 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 bark.
It's all the former players on the Clippers being like, dude, it's just 2 lefts and a right to get there. We could dig. It's only 55 yards. Get your shovel. We're gonna pop up under their tile and we're gonna scare them. We're like, Trojan horse.
Boo. I just watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail, actually for the first time ever. And they
didn't like it.
No, I loved it. It was really funny. But they do the Trojan horse, but they forget to go inside of it. So it just goes in the castle, and they're like, "What next?" It's like, and then we'll pop out outside of the Trojan horse. We're not in the horse though.
The NBA is just like that, except they get in the Trojan horse and then just throw no punches.
They get in the Trojan horse, and then the other team decides they don't want the Trojan horse, so they just push it back out. And then the team's like, thank God we didn't have to jump out.
Oh, man, I was really scared.
I was really nervous.
Although, you have to be worried about Blake Griffin because, like, 2 years ago, he did punch his masseuse or whatever, the personal trainer. He, like, slapped him around a little bit. It's a weird story. I guess that makes sense because his personal trainer was probably 5'9", $175.
It's terrifying. I mean, they could be giving you a high five and you could break your hand or something.
You could die.
These people are freakishly strong and freakishly athletic. And we don't consider that.
You know when you high five your friend and you're like, wow, we hit too hard. That hurts my hand. You could just snap your arm clean off.
It's just a guarantee that that's going to happen.
A handshake hurts your hand now. You're screwed.
Okay, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, I don't know if we can ever stop talking about it. By far, the team talked about the most in the past year was the Cleveland Cavaliers and all things related. It starts off with trading Kyrie. Rob, you've been very verbal about that. How do you feel about that trade?
Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.
Worst trade ever for Cleveland.
Just astounding. And people were thinking that Cleveland won the trade.
It's classic just stats people. Well, Isaiah and Kyrie had very similar stats, so they're going to both perform exactly the same despite completely different systems, completely different players, completely different coaches coming off an injury. IT was never going to replicate what he did last year. Even if he came in and scored 18 off the bench, he would still be a way worse player than Kyrie Irving, who single-handedly won you a couple games in the finals 2 or 3 years ago. It's crazy to give up on that guy. Well, it's not crazy to give up on him because he didn't want to be there, but you know what I mean. Bad trade.
It's hard to tell. I mean, and this is the moment when you realize that you're just not involved with any of this stuff, so you don't know exactly what the story is. You don't know if Kyrie was demanding the trade first or he heard that they were shopping around for him. Because I've heard that they were shopping around. They were trying to get Paul George and Eric Bledsoe. And Eric Bledsoe was involved with Clutch and Rich Paul and stuff like that. So LeBron wanted him. So I've heard all that stuff. But also that could have happened after Kyrie was like, fuck this place. I'm in Cleveland. I need to leave.
That would have been such a good trade for them to get Paul George and then lose in the finals in 4. Just like they are right now.
I think if they got Paul George, they would have lost in 5.
They would be better. Granted, Game 4 hasn't happened yet, but it's not looking good.
It's not looking good, but we're going to make our educated guesses because we're going to release this after, and we're going to say that they got swept.
Golden State by 50 tonight when LeBron stops playing.
Well, because I don't think LeBron can keep playing. I don't think he can drop 50 when they're down 3-0.
I don't think he's in it. I think LeBron sees it. We're up. We need to win 4 in a row. And even if I played my best game for 4 straight games, we still probably lose 2. So it's not even worth it. I think he's done.
Let's talk about LeBron's regular season, though. This was just crazy. You don't expect this in year 15 of a player, that he's like, I'm going to play more minutes, I'm going to score more than I ever have, and I'm going to show you how good my three-point shot is now.
He is crazy good at being a professional basketball player. It gets talked about so much, especially if you watch ESPN. Talked about borderline constantly, but I don't think people realize how much better LeBron is than the next best player. If you look at you look at a guy like KD, he had a young Russell Westbrook and a young James Harden on his team, and he didn't make the finals. LeBron has Kyle Korver. He's made it 8 times in a row. That's crazy. He's just in such an upper echelon of talent. If he ever gets anyone around him, it would be amazing.
Yeah. So he gets the trade. He has Isaiah Thomas in January, but for the first half of the season, he has Jay Crowder playing. Clearly doesn't want to be there. Ante Zizic, who didn't play a minute. Who else did they get in that trade? There's one more, I think.
They got a draft pick, I think.
They got the Brooklyn pick, which is only 8, so that didn't screw us over as Celtics fans. And they pick up Dwayne Wade. How'd Dwayne do?
Dwayne's old.
Dwayne's old. Had some classic Dwayne Wade nights, though, back with the Heat. His first night back, he dropped 28 off the bench.
That guy can be the best two-guard on any team in the entire NBA for one night a week. That's the problem, is he's so old, he gets so beat up so fast that I genuinely think if you were just try Friday and you're not going to play any other days, he could be amazing.
I don't know. It might have to be bi-weekly now.
Monthly.
Yeah.
It's like a subscription.
But I was all for Dwayne Wade going back to Miami. I like that story.
I don't care just because in theory it's so nice because he goes back to Miami, but it's not like he played with those guys his whole career.
That's true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not like Chris Bosh is there.
Yeah, he didn't play with any of the people that are there for the most part, except for the occasional role player. So it's not like a huge reunion for him. Maybe just Spoelstra. Maybe like Spoelstra.
Yeah, I mean, Spoelstra is definitely a big part. But it's just, you don't see loyalty to a franchise much anymore, which I'm completely okay with because a player has to take care of himself. And so it's nice when it works out because I don't think he went back because of loyalty to a franchise. I think Miami's like, we could sell more tickets. Yeah. And it'll look nice if he can retire a Heat.
Oh, yeah. It worked out both ways because he gets a free extra season or two of being under contract with an old organization. And they get, quote, a name to put on the billboard.
So Cleveland does this midseason trade, gets rid of Jay Crowder, brings in George Hill, and then Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. come in. Rodney Hood comes over too. Was there ever a second when you thought this was it? This is what they needed?
I still think that they're a better team than they were. Not by much, but I think Jay Crowder is worse than people realize, and I think Dwayne Wade is farther out of his prime than people realized. I also thought this was a very weird trade from the GM's perspective because he's trying to make a trade to make LeBron's team good, but also make the Cavs not suck if LeBron leaves. You don't usually see a big trade from a playoff team get all younger players back. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, and also they're still going to suck if LeBron leaves.
Yeah, but they're not going to be Phoenix bad. Well, maybe. They're not going to be good.
Yeah, I think it's like a 3-game difference now.
Yeah, Rodney Hood's 25. Jordan Clarkson's 24-ish. I don't know.
He's one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen.
Jordan Clarkson sucks.
Holy
crap?
Why did they put him in? What? That's what I'm confused by. He's playing finals minutes, not game 3 though.
All you hear about in the NBA, don't shoot the deep 2 because it's useless. There's no point of shooting a 20-footer when you can take one step back and it's worth an extra point. Jordan Clarkson, pump fakes to LeBron, first of all, dumb. Up fakes to the defender, pulls into a 21-footer pull-up with both heels on the line, and just front rims it. He's the most useless offensive player. He just doesn't get how the league works. I feel like one-on-one he would be nasty, but if you put him in an actual organized game, he's useless.
Yeah, and like I've said before, he's the only player I could imagine getting the ball at point and then not passing it to the best player in the world for an entire drive.
He fake passes it to LeBron. What are you doing?
It's insane.
Give it to him.
And then I think this is a hard statement to say, but I think my favorite player to play against in the league now is J.R. Smith. It's just thank you, J.R. Smith, for being my opponent. Dude is the most deprecating player to his team I've seen in a long time.
And his MO has always been, I'm streaky and I'll get hot a couple games in a series and I'll help because I'll go 4 of 6 for 3 or something. But he hasn't can you think of any game in the playoffs where he's been yeah, JR played well?
Oh, no.
I can't think of any.
He hit 3 threes in a game, and I was like, wow. By far, his best game
of the season. What a performance. But you think that way, and then you think, well, I can think of Obviously, he lost the game one. That was all his fault. Well, mostly his fault.
Well, and George Hill. You cannot.
And George Hill.
Yeah, you got to give George Hill some slack because you got to make that. You're a professional. You're an 80% shooter from the foul line.
He went 0 for in the first 2 games against the Celtics, so he made that series way longer than it should have been because they clearly could have destroyed the Celtics if JR or anyone could hit a shot.
If literally anybody on that bench.
Literally pick a person could hit a shot. So I think he made this playoff run for LeBron so much harder because every time LeBron passes it and it's not Kyle Korver, it's not going in.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And J.R. Smith used to be some help, and now it's just Jeff Green dunking on the Celtics.
And then not playing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And then being terrible in the finals.
Oh.
Yep.
One more Cleveland thing. We got to talk about Tristan Thompson. What a year he had.
What a year. January 1st, he's sitting there. He probably wrote down his New Year's resolutions. He's like, I'm going to cheat on my wife and have it be recorded. I'm going to have the worst NBA career of my season, or worst NBA season of my career, and everyone's going to hate me, and I'm going to be useless in the finals. And he achieved all of them.
Yeah.
In 1 year.
What a year. I'm not condoning cheating for a NBA basketball player, but it happens. We can't ignore that fact that it happens. Some of them are good, some of them are better. I feel like all of them know just don't cheat on a Kardashian. That's like the biggest rule for an NBA player. If you're going to cheat on your wife or girlfriend or whatever, do not make it a Kardashian.
I think you're more inclined to cheat on a Kardashian. That's the problem. It's like a catch-22. If you date a Kardashian, she's going to drive you crazy.
Okay.
So what are you going to do?
You're going to cheat on her? Oh, man. That's terrible.
So now, but then you cheat on her, she's going to drive you crazy.
Right.
So that catch-22, man.
So are you saying that Tristan Thompson was doing it for Khloe? To stay together for the kids?
Yeah, I was going to say that the Kardashians probably called him and was like, hey, we haven't had a lot of TV publicity lately. Can you cheat on her?
It's kind of like the LeVar Ball situation. Maybe he should date Lonzo.
He should date Lonzo. That openly gay in the NBA, that'd be a first. Maybe. I don't know. Are there openly gay players in the NBA?
I don't know if there's an openly gay, but I think there was like the first like openly gay retired player, and I can't remember who it was.
All the power to you. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's move on from Cleveland. You good with that? You have any more to say about Cleveland?
I have nothing else to say about Tristan Thompson's life.
Number one, and I do not deserve credit for this this word, but we need to talk about the evolution of pre-agency. I need to give Bill Simmons podcast the credit. Pre-agency, because there's this new age thing of players having no leverage and getting trades to places that they want to go. How do you feel about this, Rob?
That's such a good point, too, where I don't know if players have no leverage as much as... Well, who has no leverage that got traded? I'm curious what you mean by that.
Kyrie had 2 years left on his...
Oh, yeah. He's like, I want out.
Jimmy Butler had 2 years left on his contract. Chris Paul only had 1 more year left, and he was like, by the way, I'm not coming back, so trade me.
I think this is just an awkward time of openness for players, where when they want to leave, they just go, I'm going to leave now. I'm not going to play anymore unless you trade me. And it leaves people with nothing to do. They're just screwed. It leaves GM screwed. But it does make it extremely interesting because, I see you have Chris Paul on our notes. His contract's up. Kyrie Irving's got 1 year left. Kawhi's pissed. It's got a lot going on this free agency.
And Jimmy Butler has 1 more year left.
Yeah, but I don't like Jimmy Butler, so I don't talk about him.
He's good, though. He's a good two-way player. You can't argue that.
People who are called good two-way players are usually bad. It's like when they call white people sneaky fast.
Which still hurts my feelings.
They're just quick. They're not fast.
They're just good side to side. I like Jimmy Butler a lot because I think Minnesota showed how bad they were without Jimmy Butler. But he's not clutch. So I get why you would have frustrations with him because it's like, okay, we have our best player, Jimmy Butler. The last 2 minutes of play, okay, who are we going to go to because we can't go to Jimmy Butler?
Where'd Ricky Rubio go?
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the Jazz. Oh, no.
Yeah, they have the same shooting average.
In the Final Four, yeah.
But Ricky Rubio's
final
looking
two.
good. He's got that samurai bun, and he's got a nice beard now.
Always been a fun player to watch. I feel like Ricky Rubio in the early 2000s NBA would have been a stud when the three ball didn't matter as much and driving and dishing to big men was cool.
Yeah, he could facilitate more and not have to worry about scoring as much.
Yeah, people would be like, "Oh, it's like Rick Nash all over again."
Rick Nash?
Except obviously, I mean, Steve Nash. Rick Nash plays hockey.
Right.
It would be like Steve Nash minus the shooting, but it'd still be fun.
It'd be like early Jason Kidd.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, it's long-haired, sexy Jason Kidd. Depending on how you feel about Jason Kidd.
I have a very big bias against players that don't have good-looking jump shots, so I usually don't like them. I don't like watching Eric Gordon play. Sean Marion was rough to watch. But Ricky Rubio does not have the prettiest shot I've ever seen, and I still very much like him. He's got a weird flick of the wrist.
Because we said Jason Kidd and I said sexy, I thought you were going to say I don't like players that aren't sexy.
Oh, I feel that
say.
way. That's why I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. That's why I'm upset we don't have Danny Amendola anymore. Julian Edelman, don't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it some other time.
Got to be the best looking team in the league or else you're not winning.
Yeah.
Got to win in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
But
you say your point.
I have nothing. I was just going to say, do you have anything else on pre-agency? I just think it's exciting that in a league that typically didn't have a ton of movement, there's actually a lot of movement now.
Yeah, I think just the Kawhi thing blew my mind the most because it was definitely the most extreme case of it. He got cleared to play, and he's like, I'm not going to play my job. I'm not going to do my job. That's basically what he was like.
And where did it come from, too? Because you guys asked me a long time ago, is Kawhi going to leave San Antonio? And I was like, what are you guys talking about? And you read the news, and it's like, Kawhi's upset. And I was like, psh, it's Kawhi. He's the nice guy. He's never mad at anybody. He never does anything. He just kind of plays his game. He's Popovich's prodigy. But to have him come out of nowhere and say that he's not going to play, and now people are going to be offering trades for him in the offseason, to see him move would be, he might be 3 in the NBA when he's healthy behind Kevin Durant, so that would be a huge deal.
Yeah, if he ends up on someone like Philly that needs that experience, and that will still let Ben Simmons be ball dominant, like that'd be insane.
That would be a really good move for Philly.
It'd be an amazing move for Philly. And then they can dump.
They have no way of doing that move.
I mean, it just depends if the Spurs see Markelle Fultz as an asset.
Huh.
I'm saying the Spurs. I'm not saying you, Rob.
Sorry. I actually think Markelle Fultz is good. I just don't think he's like life-changing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a one player for one player. They'll have to get rid of Saric, maybe Robert Covington.
Not Robert Covington.
I know. Dude, he made all NBA defense.
That was so funny. I made fun of Connor for so long for liking Robert Covington, and then he could text us. He's like, "Guess who made all NBA defense?"
It was literally the day we did a podcast making fun of Connor for liking Robert Covington. We're like, "Oh, he did pretty good."
Who likes Robert Covington? It's so stupid.
It's silly. I don't know. I don't hate role players. I'm not into them as much as Connor is, but he didn't really approach me very well. I mean, he's no JJ Redick, though. I mean, who am I supposed to look at besides JJ Redick on that team?
The NBA is just not a role player league, you know? You mentioned Danny Amendola. You can have random people in other sports come up big for you, but in the NBA, did anyone score 43 last night other than KD?
Well, okay.
No.
Here's my argument, though, but your role players can lose you the game, because if Trevor Ariza hit 1 3, that would have been better than his 0 for 12 or whatever you want.
Touche, Michael. Touche.
And he's the ultimate role player.
He is. The rumors that he's going to the Warriors next year.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, well, that's the rumor. Is that they'll pick up Ariza because he's knockoff Iggy.
Yeah. Iggy still has like a 3-year contract.
They'll have like 9 Iggies off the bench,
which will equal 1 Iggy 3 years ago.
Yeah, it'll be 1 Philadelphia Iggy.
There we go. Oh man, I miss Philadelphia Iggy. That was so fun to watch. Yeah, I'm averaging 30 a game. What was the final score for your team? 60.
Where'd you shoot from? Wait, shoot? Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Okay, let's go on to our segment, Suggestion Box.
Suggestion Box.
Man, this is the second time we're doing it. Last time we talked about Dave Chappelle, and Connor had no facts to support why people should listen to J. Cole. So
I think I'm gonna make a funny jingle for this one time, and I'm not gonna show you or Connor. I'm just gonna play it.
I would love a jingle right before that, or just like an inspirational tone.
Here are
Some
my ideas so
trumpets.
far. Mike didn't give me anything to do. It's probably gonna be something like that.
Okay,
It's probably gonna be yelling at you.
that's fine.
All right.
What's your suggestion?
My suggestion. I actually have an anti-suggestion this week, which is
Okay.
why I didn't write it down in the notes. I watched Ready Player One last night.
Oh,
That is a bad movie.
yeah.
Holy crap. For a movie that Spielberg's attached to it, it's got all the stuff that you could imagine from when you were a kid playing video games. It's got so many references. You know what it doesn't have? A good storyline or good acting. It was really bad. Don't waste your time. Don't Redbox it. I watched it for free.
What?
Don't Redbox it. Don't Blockbuster it. Whatever you do.
What drew you into it?
I thought you know what? Actually, to be 100% honest, I heard that there's a Master Chief reference in it. The guy from Halo.
Yeah,
So I
worth
was
it.
like, I would like to see that. And plus, I watch pretty much every movie that comes out in the big theaters for free after they come out, just because, I got to stay hip with the kids, stay up on the lingo.
Well, now
What about you?
now that I don't really have a life, because school is done, it costs $5 to get a ticket for the first viewing on Tuesdays. So I have a tradition now.
That's where you pick up the ladies.
That's where I pick up the ladies. There's like a grandmother bringing her kid to see a movie. I'm like, what are you guys going to see?
Yes. Hands on your hips. Hey, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah. I'm not going to buy her a ticket though. That's $10 if I buy her a
Yeah,
ticket.
that's a lot of money.
And if I
That's a lot
buy
of
the
money.
grandkid a ticket, that's $15. Man, I can't afford that.
Do you eat before you go so that you don't have to buy like $5 popcorn?
Yeah, so I eat breakfast because it's early. It's like 10 a.m. I'm going to movies.
Sorry,
at
I
like-
didn't realize how early this was.
No, it's like 10 a.m. So I eat breakfast, and then I bought like 60 Gatorades for like an event, and then I never brought the Gatorades to the event. So I've just been drinking mini Gatorades for like 3 months. So I stick one of those down my pants. And then I go, if I'm feeling like really frisky, I'll go to a gas station and I'll get Raisinets and also stick those down my pants. So the summer's been rough because it just goes right through the shorts.
So big thumbs up for the movies, big thumbs up for Raisinets, big thumbs down for Ready
That's
Player
not my
One.
suggestion. Can I do my suggestion?
Yeah, that was my lead in. You cut me off.
Oh,
Thanks a lot,
sorry.
man.
Do finish your lead in.
All right, what's next for you, Mike?
Okay. For those of you who have Amazon Prime, you have access to Amazon Prime like streaming movies. And some movies that are on there right now is the Indiana Jones trilogy. Well, actually 4 movies now. If you have not taken the time to ever watch those, if you have all your friends around you making references to Indiana Jones and you don't know what they're talking about, this is your opportunity to go watch them. They're amazing movies. They are iconic and they're important for action and the evolution of action movies with character development in it. So I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark recently, and I'm all about Harrison Ford right now.
You want to know something sad?
You've never seen the Indiana Jones, have you?
No, it's worse than that. The only Indiana Jones that I've seen is the
Crystal
one with
Skull.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh no!
Where at the end, aliens showed up, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it gets
This is Indiana Jones?
it gets very confusing at the end.
Is this a Star Wars crossover?
Is this even
Okay.
Stevens?
Shia LaBeouf used to be an Indian or an Asian kid in the comic. I'm confused.
It's funny when Harrison Ford kisses a girl in Indiana Jones, and you're like, what about Leia? Okay, are you even thinking about her?
What have you been doing? He never misses shots in Star Wars.
Yeah, but they're great movies. They're really fun. He actually enjoyed being Indiana Jones more than he enjoyed being Han Solo. So it's worth a watch, and it's just a fun, entertaining time that you don't have to pay attention too in-depthly, which is nice.
You don't have to pay attention to
No,
the
you
movie?
can, well, you can pay attention. There's a lot of little things, but it's just like for those people, I love very in-depth movies that are very elaborate, and there's a lot of just like plots going and intertwining with each other. I find that entertaining, but I can understand how that gets exhausting to people. not everybody wants to watch American Beauty and think for an hour and a half and then be like, oh, God, I'm watching a Kevin Spacey movie.
Sometimes you just want to see a guy crack a whip,
Exactly. Sometimes you want to
Snap some
see
wrists off.
like a Pakistani samurai type thing. That sounds really bad. I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
but
that's not good.
that's
Where are
not
you going
bad.
with this one?
I don't know. It's just
It's a scimitar.
dude just going
That's
crazy with a scimitar.
Yeah,
Just
that's what
going
it's called.
crazy with a sword, and then Indiana Jones just pulls out a gun and shoots him. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's great.
It's a scimitar.
And then Nazis are bad. You learn that through the movie, so you don't ever
That's
question.
good.
You don't ever
I was-
question the good guy and the bad guy. You
I
kind of
was on the
know.
fence
You're like,
for a lot
Hitler
of other
bad.
movies recently.
I learned that in school. Hitler equals bad.
All right. That is our suggestion box. Email me or send me something on Instagram if you have anything that you want us to talk about at the end for suggestion box, and I will watch it and criticize it right here in this time frame right now. 46 to 46:10.
Sweet. Okay, we
Later.
good? Peace.
Yeah.
Love you.
I don't.
He loves me. It's okay.